Discovery and First Contact. The European ice sheets stretched endlessly beneath the Galileo 2, a state-of-the-art research vessel hovering just above the frozen surface of Jupiter's moon. Dr. Alina Reeves stood at the viewport, her breath fogging the reinforced glass as she gazed at the alien landscape below. After years of preparation and a journey spanning millions of kilometers, they were about to make history. Dr. Reeves, we're ready to begin the final descent. Captain Jared Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. You might want to strap in. Alina nodded, even though the captain couldn't see her, and made her way to the bridge. As she secured herself into one of the acceleration couches, she caught the eye of Dr. Amit Patel, the mission's senior physicist. He gave her a nervous smile. Excited? She asked, trying to keep her own voice steady. Terrified, he admitted with a chuckle. But in a good way. We're about to make history after all. The Galileo shuddered as it entered Europa's thin atmosphere. Alina closed her eyes, picturing the anomaly they had detected with their advanced sensors. It was roughly cylindrical, about the size of a football field, and buried under nearly 15 kilometers of ice. Whatever it was, it had been there for millions of years, predating human civilization by eons. As the ship touched down on the icy surface, Alina's mind raced with possibilities. Was it a ship, a base, or something beyond their comprehension? She had dedicated her life to the search for extraterrestrial life, but now, faced with the reality of actual alien artifacts, she felt woefully unprepared. The next few hours were a blur of activity. The crew deployed their specialized drilling equipment, designed to cut through Europa's ice without contaminating the potential subsurface ocean. Alina watched the progress on the monitors, her heart pounding as they drew closer and closer to the alien structure. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they'd breached the cavern containing the anomaly. The camera feed flickered to life, revealing a massive, sleek object that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. My God, Amit whispered beside her. It's beautiful. Alina could only nod, words failing her. The artifact was clearly artificial, its smooth lines and symmetrical designs speaking of an intelligence far beyond their own. But what truly caught her attention was a small opening near the base of the structure, just large enough for a human to enter. We need to go in, she said, her voice filled with determination. Captain Chen frowned. Dr. Reeves, we haven't run any safety protocols yet. We don't know what's in there. With all due respect, Captain, this is what we came here for, Alina argued. We can't just sit here and stare at it. Every moment we wait is a moment wasted. After a heated debate, it was decided that Alina and Amit would lead a small team into the structure. As they donned their protective suits and prepared to leave the ship, Alina couldn't shake the feeling that she was about to step into a new chapter of human history. The journey across Europa's surface was treacherous, but Alina barely noticed the danger. Her eyes were fixed on the alien structure looming before them, its dark surface a stark contrast to the icy white landscape surrounding it. As they approached the entrance, Alina's suit sensors began picking up strange energy readings. Amit, are you seeing this? She asked over the comm. Yes, he replied, his voice tight with excitement. It's like nothing I've ever encountered before. The energy signature is impossible. Alina took a deep breath and stepped into the alien structure. The moment she crossed the threshold, she felt a strange tingling sensation throughout her body. The interior was dark, but as they moved further in, soft blue lights began to flicker to life along the walls. It's responding to our presence, Amit observed, his scientific mind already racing with theories. They made their way deeper into the structure, marveling at the alien architecture. The walls were covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as they walked past. Alina reached out to touch one and gasped as it reacted to her touch, swirling into new configurations. "This technology, it's beyond anything we've ever imagined," she murmured. As they rounded a corner, they found themselves in a vast chamber. In the center stood a pedestal, and atop it rested what appeared to be a suit of armor. But this was no medieval relic. The armor was sleek, almost liquid in appearance, with lines of pulsing energy running through it. Alina approached the pedestal, drawn by an inexplicable force. As she got closer, the armor began to glow brighter, responding to her presence. "Elena, wait!" Amit called out, but it was too late. Elena reached out and touched the armor. In an instant, it seemed to come alive, flowing over her hand up her arm. She tried to pull away, but the armor moved too quickly, enveloping her entire body in seconds. For a moment, panic threatened to overwhelm her. But then, as the armor settled into place, a sense of calm washed over her. Information flooded her mind, the history of an ancient alien race, the purpose of the armor, and a warning of a threat that was coming. "Elena, are you all right?" Amit's panicked voice broke through her reverie. Elena opened her eyes, seeing the world through the armor's advanced senses. She felt stronger, faster, more alive than she ever had before. "I'm fine, Amit," she said, her voice steady and confident. "But we need to get back to Earth. Now." "Why? What's wrong?" Elena turned to face her colleague, the armor's faceplate retracting to reveal her determined expression. "Because," she said gravely, "we're about to be invaded, and I might be humanity's only hope." As they rushed back to the ship, Elena's mind raced with the knowledge imparted by the alien armor. The artifact's creators, an ancient race called the progenitors, had seeded the galaxy with these suits of armor, meant to be found by species on the brink of interstellar travel. It was a test, a way to determine if a species was worthy of joining a greater galactic community. But there was another race out there, one that sought to destroy any potential rivals before they could rise to power. And now, with the activation of the armor, Earth had just painted a target on itself. As the Galileo broke orbit around Europa, heading back to Earth at maximum speed, Helena knew that the fate of humanity now rested on her shoulders. The armor had chosen her, and she would have to quickly master its incredible powers if she hoped to save her species from annihilation. The journey back to Earth would take weeks, even at their fastest speed. It would be a race against time, with Elena and her team struggling to understand the alien technology and prepare humanity for the coming storm. But as she looked out at the stars, feeling the power of the armor thrumming through her body, Elena felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had faced extinction before, had overcome impossible odds throughout its history. And now, with the help of this alien gift, they would do so again. The invasion was coming, but Earth would be ready. As Jupiter's massive form receded behind them, Elena made a silent vow. She would master this armor, unlock its secrets, and stand as humanity's shield against the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin, and Elena Reeves, once a simple xenorchiologist, now stood at its center, humanity's unlikely champion. Awakening powers. The Galileo streaked through space, pushing its engines to the limit as it raced back to Earth. Inside the ship's makeshift laboratory, Dr. Elena Reeves stood motionless, her body encased in the alien armor that had chosen her. To an outside observer, she might have appeared statue-like, but within her mind, a storm of information and sensations raged. Elena floated in a sea of light and data, her consciousness expanded beyond anything she had ever experienced. The armor wasn't just a protective shell, it was a living interface, a bridge between her human mind and the vast knowledge of the long-lost progenitors. Elena. Dr. Amit Patel's voice sounded distant, as if coming from the other end of a long tunnel. Elena, can you hear me? With an effort of will, Elena pulled herself back to the present moment. The armor's faceplate retracted, revealing her eyes, which now glowed with an otherworldly blue light. I'm here, Amit, she said, her voice carrying an odd resonance. It's incredible. The things I'm seeing, learning, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. Amit nodded, his face a mixture of awe and concern. What exactly are you experiencing? Can you describe it? Elena paused, searching for words to convey the indescribable. It's like, imagine if you could not only read every book ever written, but understand and internalize all that knowledge instantly. Now multiply that by a factor of 1,000,000, and add in sensory experiences from across the galaxy. She raised her hand, watching as the armor flowed like liquid metal, reshaping itself at her thought. The progenitors, they weren't just advanced. They had unlocked the fundamental secrets of the universe. Matter, energy, space-time, they learned to manipulate it all. And they put all that into a suit of armor. Captain Chen asked, skepticism evident in his voice. Elena shook her head. Not all of it. This is just a fraction, a seed. The armor is designed to grow, to evolve with its wearer. It's a test, a way to see if a species is ready for the next step in cosmic evolution. A test? Amit leaned forward, intrigued. What kind of test? Before Elena could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Captain Chen rushed to a console, his face paling as he read the incoming data. We've got company, he announced grimly. 3 unidentified vessels just appeared on our long-range sensors. They're on an intercept course. Elena felt a surge of energy course through her body. The armor was responding to the potential threat, priming itself for action. They're here, she said, her voice filled with a mixture of dread and determination. The harvesters. The what? Amit asked, confusion evident on his face. The race that destroys emerging civilizations, Elena explained quickly. The armor's given me knowledge of them. They scour the galaxy, eliminating any species that might one day challenge them. And now they've come for Earth. Captain Chen's hands flew over the controls. I'm pushing the engines to maximum, but there's no way we can outrun them. We're still days away from Earth. Elena closed her eyes, accessing the armor's systems. In her mind, she could see the approaching ships, feel the malevolent intent of their crews. They were hunters, predators, and humanity was their prey. I need to go out there, she said, her eyes snapping open. What? That's insane. Amit protested. We don't even know what that armor is capable of. Elena turned to face him, her expression resolute. No, but I'm learning. Quickly. And right now, I'm the only thing standing between those ships and Earth. Before anyone could stop her, Elena strode towards the airlock. The armor sealed itself, forming a sleek, otherworldly silhouette. As the outer doors opened, she felt no fear, only a sense of purpose and an overwhelming urge to protect. With a thought, she propelled herself into the void of space. The armor systems integrated seamlessly with her senses, allowing her to perceive the vastness around her in ways no human ever had before. She could feel the solar wind, see the intricate dance of subatomic particles, and sense the gravitational pull of distant celestial bodies. The enemy ships drew closer, their designs as alien as they were menacing. Elena raised her hand, and to her amazement, a surge of energy coalesced around it, forming a shimmering barrier. Just in time. The lead ship opened fire, a beam of searing energy lancing out towards her. The barrier absorbed the blast, and Elena felt the power flow through her, invigorating rather than harming. Okay, she muttered to herself, a grim smile forming on her face. Let's see what this suit can really do. Alina launched herself towards the attacking vessels, her body moving with a speed and grace that defied human limitations. Energy crackled around her as she weaved through a barrage of weapons fire, each near miss only serving to charge the armor further. As she closed in on the lead ship, Alina felt the armor's weapon systems activating. With a thought, she unleashed a blast of concentrated energy that tore through the enemy vessel's shields like they were tissue paper. The ship exploded in a silent flash, debris scattering across the starry backdrop. The other two vessels broke formation, clearly caught off guard by this unexpected resistance. Alina didn't give them time to regroup. She pushed her newfound abilities to their limit, becoming a blur of motion and energy. One moment she was absorbing enemy fire, the next she was returning it tenfold. The armor anticipated her every need, enhancing her natural instincts and supplementing them with ounces of battle knowledge. In a matter of minutes, it was over. The enemy ships were reduced to drifting wreckage, and Alina floated in the center of it all, barely winded. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the true magnitude of what she had just done hit her. She, a scientist who had never so much as thrown a punch, had just single-handedly defeated 3 advanced alien warships. Alina turned back towards the Galileo 2, which looked impossibly small and fragile against the backdrop of space. As she propelled herself towards it, she realized that everything had changed. She was no longer just Dr. Alina Reeves, cynorcheologist. She had become something more, humanity's first line of defense against a threat they didn't even know existed. As she re-entered the ship, she was met with stunned silence. The entire crew had witnessed her impossible feat through the ship's external cameras. How? Captain Chen started, then shook his head in disbelief. What are you? Alina's faceplate retracted, revealing a face that was both familiar and somehow alien in its newfound confidence and power. Unstill me, she said softly. But I'm also something new. Something humanity needs to become if we're going to survive what's coming. She looked around at her crewmates, seeing the mix of awe and fear in their eyes. We need to get back to Earth. Now, because that, she gestured to the debris field outside. That was just the beginning. As the Galileo HFY resumed its journey home, Alina knew that the real challenge lay ahead. She had unlocked incredible powers, but would it be enough to save her entire species from extinction? Only time would tell, and time was quickly running out. Looming threat. The Galileo 2's return to Earth was anything but triumphant. As the ship breached the atmosphere, it was immediately surrounded by a swarm of military aircraft, their weapons trained on the vessel that now carried humanity's greatest hope, and potentially its greatest threat. Alina stood at the viewport, the alien armor now seamlessly integrated with her body. She could feel the fear and suspicion radiating from the pilots around them, their fingers hovering over triggers, ready to unleash destruction at a moment's notice. This isn't exactly the welcome I was expecting, Amit muttered, standing beside her. Alina's lips curved into a wry smile. Can you blame them? We left Earth in search of alien life and came back with, well, me. As the ship touched down on a remote military base, Alina saw a sea of armed soldiers, their faces hidden behind opaque visors. Among them stood a tall, imposing figure, General Lydia Valdez, head of Earth's newly formed Extraterrestrial Defense Initiative, EDI. Remember, Captain Chen said quietly as they prepared to disembark, no sudden moves. The moment Alina stepped onto the tarmac, she felt a shift in the air. The soldiers tensed, their weapons humming with barely contained energy. But it wasn't their hostility that caught her attention. It was the strange resonance she felt with the technology around her. The armor was reaching out, interfacing with Earth's systems in ways she couldn't fully comprehend. In her mind's eye, she saw a web of information spanning the globe, military networks, and civilian infrastructure, all laid bare before her. Dr. Reeves, General Valdez's voice cut through her reverie, sharp and commanding. Or should I say, the alien entity currently inhabiting Dr. Reeves' body. Alina focused on the general, pushing aside the flood of data. It's still me, General. The armor, it's not controlling me. It's enhancing me, preparing us for what's coming. Valdez's eyes narrowed. And what exactly is coming, Doctor? Before Alina could respond, a searing pain lanced through her head. The armor reacted instantly, forming a protective cocoon around her as she fell to her knees. In her mind, she saw flashes of destruction. Planets burning, civilizations crumbling, a relentless tide of darkness sweeping across the galaxy. They're coming, she gasped, her voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. The harvesters. They're everywhere. As if in response to her words, alarms began blaring across the base. A young officer rushed up to General Valdez, his face pale with shock. General, we're detecting multiple anomalies in the Kuiper Belt. Hundreds, no, thousands of objects, moving at impossible speeds. Valdez turned back to Alina, her skepticism replaced by grim understanding. How long do we have? Alina rose to her feet, her eyes glowing with the knowledge of 1,000 dead civilizations. Days, maybe hours. They're not just coming for Earth, they're coming for every inhabitable world in the solar system. Mars, Europa, Titan, nowhere is safe. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. Alina found herself in a high-security briefing room, surrounded by the world's top military and scientific minds. As she explained the nature of the threat they faced, she could see the hope draining from their eyes. You're telling us that this armada has destroyed countless advanced civilizations, one admiral said, his voice heavy with despair. What chance do we have? Alina placed her hand on the table, and to everyone's astonishment, the armor flowed outward, transforming the surface into a three-dimensional star map. We have something they've never encountered before, she said, her voice filled with a confidence she didn't entirely feel. The progenitors chose Earth for a reason. This armor, the knowledge it contains, it's not just a weapon. It's a key. She zoomed in on Earth, showing the complex energy patterns emanating from the planet's core. There's a network of ancient technology buried beneath our feet, dormant for millions of years. The armor is activating it, preparing Earth's defenses in ways we never could have imagined. Hope began to rekindle in the room, but Alina knew she couldn't let them become complacent. But it's not enough, she continued. The armor, the defenses, they're tools. Powerful tools, but useless without the right wielders. She looked around the room, meeting each person's gaze. We need to come together in a way humanity never has before. Every nation, every individual, we're all in this fight. As the meeting adjourned and plans were set in motion, Alina felt a tug at the edge of her consciousness. The armor was pulling her attention upward, beyond the sky, to the vast expanse of space where the enemy lurked. She knew what she had to do. Without a word, Alina strode out of the building. Soldiers moved to stop her, but with a thought, she rendered their weapons useless. As she reached the open air, the armor fully encased her once more. Dr. Reeves. General Valdez called out, "Where are you going?" Alina turned back, her faceplate retracting to reveal a smile that was both sad and determined. "To buy us time," she said simply. "Prepare Earth. I'll be back, one way or another." Before anyone could stop her, Alina launched herself into the sky, breaking through the atmosphere in seconds. As the blackness of space enveloped her, she felt a sense of grim purpose. The armor had chosen her for this moment. She was Earth's first line of defense, a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. And as she sped towards the oncoming armada, Alina Reeves, scientist, explorer, and now Earth's unlikely guardian, made a silent vow. The Harvesters had destroyed countless worlds in their relentless march across the galaxy. But Earth would not fall, not while she still drew breath. As she approached the outer edges of the solar system, Alina saw them. A vast swarm of ships, each one a harbinger of destruction. She took a deep breath, feeling the power of the armor surging through her. Cosmic chess. The void between worlds became Alina's battlefield. As she approached the Harvester Armada, time seemed to slow, the armor systems interfacing directly with her consciousness. In an instant, she understood. This wasn't just a fight, it was a cosmic game of chess, with planets as pawns and entire species hanging in the balance. The Harvester ships, vast and ominous, began to shift. Alina watched in awe as they merged and transformed, assembling themselves into a colossal structure that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. It was a Dyson swarm, a megastructure designed to encapsulate entire star systems. Okay, Alina muttered to herself, that's new. As the swarm began to unfold around our sun, Alina felt a presence brush against her mind. The armor translated the alien thoughts into something she could comprehend. Anomalai DTKTTA, the collective consciousness of the Harvesters boomed in her head. Proteinitor T-signanology active. Initiate containment protocol. Alina's mind raced. The Harvesters weren't just here to destroy Earth. They were here to neutralize the threat of awakened progenitor technology. She was the target. With this realization came an idea so audacious, it made her laugh out loud in the silence of space. She wasn't just Earth's defender, she was bait. The battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. Alina focused, allowing the armor to broadcast her presence across the solar system. She became a beacon, a challenge the Harvesters couldn't ignore. As part of the swarm broke off to pursue her, she led them on a dizzying chase through the asteroid belt. Each movement was a carefully calculated risk. Alina weaved through debris fields, using the gravitational pulls of planets and moons to slingshot herself across vast distances. The Harvesters followed, their ships leaving trails of destruction in their wake. But this wasn't just evasion. With each maneuver, Alina was drawing the Harvesters into a complex orbital dance, using the very fabric of space-time as her weapon. The armor allowed her to perceive and manipulate gravitational fields in ways that defied conventional physics. As she led the enemy fleet through a particularly dense section of the asteroid belt, Alina felt the armor pulse with energy. She reached out with her mind, grasping the invisible threads of gravity that connected the celestial bodies around her. With a thought, she twisted. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Asteroids collided with each other, their trajectories altered by her impossible manipulation of gravity. The debris field became a maelstrom, catching the pursuing Harvester ships in a web of destruction. But Alina didn't stop there. As the enemy fleet struggled to regroup, she tapped into the deeper knowledge the armor provided. The fabric of space-time bent to her will, creating localized wormholes that she used to outmaneuver the Harvesters at every turn. Back on Earth, scientists watched in disbelief as their instruments registered phenomena they couldn't explain. Gravitational waves rippled across the solar system, causing havoc with orbital calculations and communication systems. General Valdez stood in the control room of the EDI headquarters, her face illuminated by the holographic display of the ongoing space battle. "What the hell is she doing out there?" she muttered. Dr. Amit Patel, who had been brought in as a consultant, shook his head in wonder. "She's rewriting the laws of physics," he said, his voice filled with awe. "Elena's not just fighting the harvesters, she's changing the rules of the game itself." As the battle raged on, Elena felt herself evolving. The armor was adapting, growing more powerful with each impossible feat she accomplished. She was no longer just Elena Reeves, nor was she simply a woman in alien armor. She was becoming something new, a hybrid of human ingenuity and progenitor technology. But even as she celebrated each small victory, Elena knew she was only buying time. The bulk of the harvester swarm was still encircling the sun, their megastructure growing larger by the minute. If they completed it, they would have the power to extinguish all life in the solar system with a thought. Elena needed a new strategy. As she dodged another barrage of enemy fire, an idea began to form in her mind. It was risky, borderline insane, but it might be their only chance. She opened a communication channel to Earth, her voice resonating through the EDI command center. "General Valdez, I need you to trust me. I have a plan, but it's going to look like I've lost my mind." Valdez exchanged a look with Emmett before responding. "Given what we've seen so far, Doctor, I'm not sure how we'd tell the difference." "What do you need?" "Prepare for a solar event unlike anything you've ever seen," Elena said, her voice filled with grim determination. "And whatever happens, whatever you see up here, do not, I repeat, do not fire on the sun." Before anyone could question her cryptic warning, Elena cut the communication. She took a deep breath, feeling the power of the armor surging through her veins. What she was about to attempt went beyond mere manipulation of gravity or space-time. She was about to meddle with the fundamental forces of the universe itself. As Elena turned to face the sun, now partially obscured by the growing harvester megastructure, she allowed herself a small smile. "Time to turn up the heat," she murmured. With that, she plunged towards the heart of the solar system, her form blurring as she pushed the armor to its limits. The harvesters, caught off guard by this suicidal charge, scrambled to intercept her. But Elena wasn't aiming for the enemy fleet. Her target was something far more ambitious and far more dangerous. As she approached the sun's corona, Elena reached out with her mind, connecting with the primal forces that powered the star. The armor systems merged with the sun's magnetic fields, and for a moment, Elena Reeves became one with the very heart of the solar system. What happened next would be debated by scientists for decades to come. The sun pulsed, its surface roiling with unprecedented activity. Solar flares of impossible magnitude erupted, reaching out across the void like grasping tendrils. The harvester swarm, caught in this cosmic maelstrom, began to disintegrate. Their megastructure, designed to harness the power of stars, was overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of Elena's solar manipulation. On Earth, day turned to night as the sun's light was momentarily obscured. Auroras of impossible beauty painted the skies around the globe, a testament to the cosmic forces being unleashed. As the last of the harvester ships crumbled under the onslaught of solar energy, Elena felt herself slipping. She had pushed the armor, and herself, beyond their limits. The sun's gravity began to pull her in, its searing heat penetrating even the advanced progenitor technology. With her last conscious thought, Elena reached out to the Earth, to the dormant progenitor technology hidden beneath its surface. As darkness claimed her, she felt a response, a surge of power from her home planet, reaching out across the void to reclaim its champion. In the EDI command center, alarms blared as sensors registered a massive energy spike emanating from deep within the Earth. General Valdez turned to Ahmed, her face a mask of confusion and hope. "What's happening?" she demanded. Ahmed stared at the readings, a smile slowly spreading across his face. "It's Earth," he said softly. "The planet itself is reaching out to save her." As a pillar of energy erupted from the Earth's surface, streaking across space towards the sun, the assembled leaders of humanity held their breath. The fate of their world, and the woman who had become its unlikely savior, hung in the balance. The cosmic chess game had reached its end game, and the next move would determine the future of not just Earth, but the entire solar system. Quantum entanglement. The pillar of energy that erupted from Earth's core wasn't just a rescue attempt. It was a paradigm shift. As it engulfed Alina's unconscious form, hovering precariously close to the sun's surface, reality itself seemed to hiccup. Back on Earth, in the subterranean depths of the EDI headquarters, Dr. Amit Patel watched in awe as his instruments went haywire. "This is impossible," he muttered, his eyes wide with disbelief. General Valdez leaned over his shoulder, her brow furrowed. "What are we looking at, Doctor?" Amit shook his head, struggling to find the words. It's like the entire planet has become quantumly entangled with Alina. The boundaries between her consciousness and Earth's biosphere are blurring." As if in response to his words, the room around them began to shift. The stark military interior melted away, replaced by a shimmering landscape that seemed to pulse with life. Trees sprouted from the floor, their branches reaching towards a sky that shouldn't exist underground. The air filled with the songs of birds that hadn't evolved yet. "My God," Valdez whispered, reaching out to touch a flower that had bloomed from the control panel. As her fingers brushed its petals, she gasped. For a moment, she wasn't just seeing the flower. She was the flower, experiencing the world through its primitive yet profound awareness. Similar scenes were playing out across the globe. In the heart of New York City, skyscrapers twisted into impossible shapes, their steel and glass flowing like water as they merged with sudden forests. In the Sahara, sand dunes came alive, shifting and flowing to reveal hidden oases, teeming with life that defied classification. Humanity found itself thrust into a waking dream, where the lines between individual and collective consciousness blurred. Every person on Earth felt a connection not just to each other, but to the planet itself, and through it, to Alina. High above, in the void between Earth and Sun, Alina's body hung suspended in a cocoon of energy. But her mind was everywhere. She was a blade of grass pushing through concrete in Tokyo, a deep-sea creature illuminating the abyssal depths, a bolt of lightning striking a mountaintop in the Andes. Every life form on Earth, from the smallest bacterium to the largest whale, became an extension of her consciousness. And through this unprecedented connection, Alina began to understand. The progenitors hadn't just left behind advanced technology. They had encoded their legacy into the very DNA of life on Earth. Every species, every ecosystem was part of a vast, planet-wide superorganism, dormant for millions of years, waiting for the right catalyst to awaken.
She was that catalyst. As this realization washed over her, Elena felt the armor changing, evolving. It was no longer just a tool or a weapon. It was becoming a bridge, a means of channeling the collective life force of an entire planet. In orbit around Earth, the remaining harvester ships found themselves facing not just a single enhanced human, but the combined might of a fully awakened biosphere. Roots of pure energy erupted from the Earth's surface, ensnaring alien vessels. The planet's magnetic field came alive, twisting into impossibly complex shapes that disrupted and destroyed harvester technology. But even as Earth defended itself, Elena understood that mere victory wasn't enough. The harvesters were symptoms of a deeper cosmic imbalance. Through her expanded consciousness, she could perceive the scars left by their passage across the galaxy: dead worlds, extinguished stars, entire regions of space left barren and lifeless. With this knowledge came a choice. Elena could retreat, use Earth's newfound power to hide from the cosmic conflict raging across the stars. Or, we have to heal it, she said, her voice resonating from every living thing on the planet. In the EDI headquarters, in the jungles of the Amazon, in the depths of the Mariana Trench, her words echoed. We have to restore the balance. Before anyone could question or object, Elena made her decision. Drawing upon the combined life force of Earth, channeled through the evolved progenitor armor, she reached out across the cosmos. The effect was immediate and breathtaking. Dead worlds stirred, their cores reigniting with a spark of life. Stellar nurseries burst into brilliant activity, birthing new stars at an accelerated rate. And in the wake of this cosmic renewal, the Harvester fleet found itself transformed. Their ships, once harbingers of destruction, became seeds of new life, dispersing across the galaxy to rejuvenate the worlds they had once ravaged. On Earth, humanity watched in awe as their planet took its place in a reborn galactic ecosystem. The transformation that had begun in crisis became a celebration of life's infinite potential. But even as the cosmos blossomed around them, a new challenge emerged. Elena's consciousness, expanded beyond anything a human mind was meant to encompass, began to fragment. She was everywhere and nowhere, stretched across light years, her very sense of self beginning to dissolve into the cosmic tapestry she had helped weave. In the EDI headquarters, now a surreal blend of military bunker and primordial forest, Amit realized the danger. We're losing her, he said urgently to Valdez. Her mind, it's becoming one with the universe. If we don't find a way to bring her back, to anchor her consciousness, there won't be an Elena left to save. Valdez nodded grimly, understanding the stakes. How do we reach someone who's become one with everything, she asked. Amit's eyes lit up with sudden inspiration. We remind her of what makes her human, he said. Not just Elena, the cosmic being, but Elena Reeves, the scientist, the explorer, the woman who loves terrible puns and always burns her toast. As they raced to implement Amit's plan, broadcasting memories and personal connections to Elena's expanded consciousness, the fate of not just one woman, but of a newly reborn cosmos hung in the balance. The universe held its breath, waiting to see if humanity's unlikely hero could find her way back from the brink of cosmic transcendence. Symphonic singularity. The cosmos pulsed with newfound vitality, each star a note in a celestial orchestra conducted by Elena's expanded consciousness. But amidst this grand symphony, a discordant thread emerged, the fading whisper of Elena Reeves, the human who had started it all. In what was once the EDI headquarters, now a swirling nexus of organic technology and primordial forest, Amit and Valdez worked feverishly. Their plan to anchor Elena's consciousness had evolved into something far more audacious. We're not just sending memories, Amit explained, his fingers dancing across a console that seemed to be growing from a massive, iridescent flower. We're composing a symphony of humanity. Valdez raised an eyebrow, skepticism warring with desperate hope. A symphony. Amit nodded, his eyes gleaming with manic inspiration. Elena's become part of a cosmic orchestra. To bring her back, we need to remind her of Earth's unique music, the cacophony of human existence. Around the globe, a peculiar phenomenon began to unfold. Every electronic device, from smartphones to satellites, began picking up and transmitting a strange, layered signal. It started as a simple rhythm, the beating of a human heart. Then, layer by layer, the complexity grew. The hum of city traffic, the roar of ocean waves, the laughter of children, the clinking of dishes in a busy restaurant, each sound a thread in the tapestry of human experience. Snippets of conversation in every language, the crescendo of a rock concert, the quiet rustle of pages turning in a library, all woven together into an impossible melody. But it wasn't just sound. Somehow, impossibly, the symphony carried sense and tastes, tactile sensations, and visual fragments. The aroma of fresh-baked bread mingled with the tang of city smog. The taste of a first kiss blended with the bitterness of morning coffee. The rough texture of tree bark melded with the smooth glide of skateboard on concrete. As the symphony built, people around the world found themselves spontaneously contributing. A painter in Paris added a burst of color with a bold brushstroke. A dancer in Rio infused the melody with the rhythm of samba. A scientist in Tokyo contributed the elegant complexity of a mathematical equation. In orbit, astronauts on the International Space Station watched in awe as the Earth itself began to glow, pulsing in time with this multisensory beat of human existence. The symphony reached across the cosmos, resonating with the grand orchestra of Elena's expanded consciousness. For a moment that stretched into eternity, two melodies intertwined, the infinite complexity of the universe and the chaotic beauty of humanity. And somewhere in that harmonious clash, Elena Rees began to remember herself. She was the taste of burnt toast on a rushed morning, the feel of sand between her toes on a sunny beach, the smell of old books in a university library. She was late-night debates about the nature of the cosmos, shared laughter over terrible science puns, quiet moments of wonder staring up at the stars. As these fragments of identity coalesced, the cosmic tapestry she had woven began to shift. The rejuvenated worlds across the galaxy took on hints of Earth-like features, not copies, but echoes, as if the essence of humanity was being gently infused into the renewed cosmic order. In the EDI headquarters, now a wild fusion of technology and nature that defied description, Amit and Valdez watched their instruments with bated breath. "It's working," Amit whispered, hardly daring to believe it. "She's coming back." But Elena's return wasn't a simple reversal. As her consciousness contracted from its cosmic expansion, it brought with it the echoes of its universal journey. She was Elena Rees, yes, but she was also something more, a bridge between the individual and the infinite. With a flash of light that momentarily outshone the sun, Elena materialized in the center of the transformed EDI chamber. The progenitor armor had evolved into something barely recognizable, a shimmering, ever-shifting second skin that seemed to contain entire galaxies within its depths. As Elena opened her eyes, Amit and Valdez gasped. Her irises swirled with cosmic dust, stars being born and dying in the span of a blink. "Elena," Amit ventured, taking a tentative step forward. "Are you, you?" Elena smiled, and in that smile was the warmth of 1,000 suns and the gentle touch of a summer breeze. "I'm me," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that hinted at cosmic depths. "But I'm also more." She reached out, touching a nearby plant. It shimmered and transformed, its leaves taking on impossibly complex fractal patterns. "I've seen the universe born and die 1,000,000 times," Elena continued. "I've been stardust and dark matter, quasars and black holes. But in the end I chose this, to be human, to be Elena, but to carry the echoes of the infinite within me." Valdez stepped forward, her military bearing softened by awe. "What happens now?" she asked. "The harvesters are gone, the galaxy is reborn. What's next for Earth, for humanity?" Elena's cosmic eyes twinkled with an all-too-human mischief. Now we really start exploring." She waved her hand, and a shimmering portal opened in the air, offering glimpses of worlds beyond imagination. "The universe is alive in ways we never dreamed, and it's waiting for us. Not as conquerors, not as mere observers, but as participants in the grandest symphony ever composed." As news of Elena's return spread across the globe, humanity found itself on the brink of a new era. The boundaries between science and art, technology and nature, the individual and the collective had been forever blurred. Earth was no longer just a pale blue dot in the cosmic ocean, but a crucial note in the universal melody. Elena Rees, once a simple scientist, now stood as a living bridge between the human and the cosmic. And as she prepared to lead humanity into this new age of exploration and harmony, she couldn't help but smile at the sheer, beautiful improbability of it all. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor, and the cosmic joke was that humanity, in all its chaotic, messy, wonderful complexity, was the punchline that made it all worthwhile. As the sun set on this first day of Earth's cosmic rebirth, Elena looked to the stars, not with the old longing of distance, but with the warm familiarity of coming home. The greatest adventure in human history was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to see what the next movement of the cosmic symphony would bring.